in the golden years of his life, Abraham, the patriarch of faith, looked upon his son Isaac and felt the weight of a father's final duty. He called his most trusted servant and made him swear a solemn oath. "Do not take a wife for my son from the Canaanites, but go to my kindred." With the oath sealed, the servant gathered 10 camels and loaded them with the finest treasures and gifts from his master's vast household. The long journey began. Traversing the sun-scorched dunes of the desert toward the distant land of Aram-naharaim, the city of Nahor. Days turned into weeks. Finally, as the sun began its descent, the servant arrived at a well just outside the town walls. He made the camels kneel and turned his heart to heaven. He prayed for a sign, a divine confirmation to lead him to the chosen woman. He asked that the girl who offered him a drink and volunteered to water his camels as well would be the one intended for Isaac. Before he had even finished praying, a young woman named Rebekah appeared, carrying a heavy earthen jug upon her shoulder. The servant hurried to meet her. "Please," he said, "give me a little water from your jar." She quickly lowered it and gave him a drink. Then, to his wonder, she said, "I will draw water for your camels too, until they have finished drinking." She ran back and forth, filling the troughs with water. The servant watched in silent awe, marveling at her diligence and the answer to his prayer. When the camels were satisfied, the servant presented her with a gold nose ring and 2 gold bracelets, asking of her family. She revealed she was the granddaughter of Nahor, Abraham's brother. The servant bowed his head and worshipped, for God had led him to his master's kin. Rebekah ran home to tell her family. Her brother, Laden, seeing the gold and hearing her story, rushed out to welcome the stranger. The servant was brought into the house, but he refused to eat until he had delivered his message. He recounted every detail of his journey. He told of Abraham's wealth, the birth of Isaac, the oath, and the miraculous sign at the well that pointed to Rebekah. Laban and Bethuel answered, "This is from the Lord. We cannot speak for or against it. Here is Rebekah. Let her be the wife of your master's son." The next morning, the servant was eager to depart. Though her family wished for her to stay longer, they put the choice to Rebekah. With courage in her voice and faith in her heart, she answered simply, "I will go." She left her home to follow God's leading. The caravan set out once more, journeying back through the vast wilderness, carrying the future of a nation with them. Meanwhile, in the Negev, Isaac had gone out to the fields in the evening to meditate and pray, perhaps thinking of his mother, Sarah. He looked up and saw camels approaching in the distance. At the same moment, Rebekah saw a man walking toward them. Learning it was Isaac, she alighted from her camel and covered herself with a veil in a gesture of modest respect. The servant told Isaac all that had happened. Isaac then brought Rebekah into the tent of his mother, Sarah, and she became his wife. Isaac loved her deeply, finding comfort after his mother's death. Thus, the divine promise continued through a union orchestrated by heaven.